Shalom Israel to the hopeful elect. We're coming back with our second alien video today. So I've been real excited to do these videos regarding aliens and angels and UFOs and other stuff that they keep hiding from us. So today we're going to get started with the second one. And before we get started, I'm going to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. That's the name of the Father, and the name of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. We also come in under the doctrine, the great millstone. And I also want to give honor to the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone for kicking out this truth many years ago. All right, so we're going to continue with this series of the alien deception. So last time we brought forth information on how there's Dead Sea Scrolls out there that reveal to us that there's life outside the planet Earth, and things such as spaceships and stuff what they call UFOs that's been coming to Earth since the ancient days. And also that there's no such thing as aliens. They're actually angels or demons. And also that the so-called aliens, which are the angels, look like us, the so-called Negroes, Latins, and Native Americans, and that they keep this stuff hidden in a secret at all costs so the truth doesn't get out there, because the truth would expose every lie they ever told. And we talked about the fear that comes along with this truth being exposed, which everything we'll mention will be exposed and will happen one day with time. Now with this video, it's going to be titled UFOs Are in the Bible. And before we get started, we're going to put up some images of random stuff that people take pictures of in the sky that you might have seen before or that others might have seen. Stuff is always in the news, but it don't get much coverage. For example, these random weird cloud formations. You know, Esau tried to explain this stuff with science, but Esau, the so-called white man science, can't explain this stuff. So he's going to take about 3 minutes and look around at some different pictures here before we get into the lesson. See, Esau's the so-called white man science can explain this stuff. And I'm gonna show pictures later of they spray chemtrails in the sky to cover up this kind of phenomenon. I've seen multiple times signs of a chariot, what they call a UFO in the sky. Then moments later, you see a stupid airplane spraying all this gas and dust in the air, and then you can't see it no more. And also, we'll see in the scriptures that UFOs in the Bible are described as a great cloud or having a rainbow-like appearance in the sky. And it also describes them as having many colors. All right, so we're gonna get going with the lesson. UFOs are in the Bible, they are biblical. But in the Bible, they're usually called chariots of fire. And also in the scripture, you will see the term chariot of God or chariots of the Lord. But if we break this down, a chariot is a vehicle that carries somebody from one place to another. For example, if we look here, we got a horse and chariot, which is a term they used back in the ancient days. And as time moved on, they started using the term horse and carriage. But I wonder why they changed it to the term horse and carriage. I guess so the term chariot be forgotten. This is the horse, this is the chariot. It's a vehicle that's powered by a horse. Now, when we think of chariot of fire, it's a glowing vehicle or a vehicle that lights up. For example, we'll show videos later, maybe in the next video, where people describe them as looking like fireballs in the sky or shooting stars without tails or just some random orbs in the sky that glows, so they light up. So in this case, chariot of fire would be a vehicle that lights up. There would be no horse with wings or unicorn pulling the chariots of God. They power themselves. They light up and they glow at night. So UFOs, which are called chariots of fire, are heavenly vehicles. They are angelic vehicles. They are the vehicles of Yahweh. The angels ride these, not no dang aliens, not no little green man, not no Martians. And so you notice now Esau is trying to make jetpacks, flying cars, flying saucers. They're trying to be like the Most High too. So Esau, the so-called white man, is actually following in these demons' footsteps and trying to be like the Most High and have everything that he has. So people might say, why do the Most High need chariots to fly if he could just fly by himself with the angels? Well, my question is, why do you need a car to drive on the ground where you got legs to walk on the ground? The Most High and the angels could fly if they wanted to, but maybe they don't want to. Maybe they want to ride in style like we do. So for example, when we got the inauguration, the presidents can walk to the meeting, but no, what they do, they got limos, they got a bunch of cars following them, they got the Secret Service with them, they got the military with them, they got their top agents with them. So that's like what the Most High do. When he moved, he got his Secret Service, which would be the angels. Then he got his military, which will also be the angels, because that's how the Most High do it. Because he the Lord of hosts. Host means army. He's the Lord of armies. That's why Exodus it says that he's a man of war. And people might say, well, UFOs are not chariots of Yahweh. It's something else going on. Well, if you know that it's not the chariots of the Most High, what else would it be? Because all these other answers that people coming up with not making no sense. It's still not explaining nothing. And also, if you got all this talk of corona all over the news, they're not reporting all the so-called UFO sightings that's been outside in the skies. There's been way more UFO sightings than any other time in history. And people might say, well, what's the purpose of angels having chariots and flying them? It's so that they can do the work of the Most High and be unspotted. For example, when you got Esau, the so-called white man, in the jungle and in the forest and underwater, spying on the animals, trying to kill the animals, trying to be nosy and see what the animals doing, what they got. They got submarines, they got safari trucks, they got all these other vehicles where they can be unspotted so they don't spook the animals, so they can try to see the animals in their natural habitat and their natural behavior. So it's like a cover up. So the so-called aliens, which are the angels, they use chariots so that they can do the Lord's work without being spotted by us. Yeah, we see the evidence, we see the vehicle, we see the lights in the sky and the weird stuff, but we still do what we're doing because as far as we know, we don't think nobody watching, but that really somebody is up there watching us. Just like the animals, when they see these vehicles, they just see something weird, but they don't know that there's somebody in those vehicles watching them. And just like an animal can't comprehend the idea of somebody driving these vehicles or watching them, We can't comprehend the idea of something more advanced than us being in the sky watching us from different phenomena that we can't explain. Weird clouds that look like UFOs, rainbow clouds, weird colors in the sky, we can't comprehend it or explain it. But that don't mean that it's not somebody behind that watching us, because that's exactly what it is. We're more advanced than animals, but the angels are more advanced than us. So now we're going to get into the scriptures. So we can go to Exodus chapter 13, verse 21. This is all taking place during the Exodus. And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud to lead them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light, to go by day and night. He took not away the pillar of the cloud by day, nor the pillar of the fire by night from before the people. Before we move on, we got to mention that this pillar of a cloud and this pillar of fire is a UFO. So when we look at this term, pillar of a cloud or in a pillar of fire by night, we got to think, what does a cloud do in the daytime? In the daytime, a cloud gives you shade from the sun, because in the daytime, the UFO is big like a cloud and it blocks the sun. And by night, in a pillar of fire, in the ancient days, when they needed light, they would make a fire. So by night, the so-called UFO, the chariot, lights up and it gave them light. So it's not a literal fire or a literal cloud. And also, if you look just right before verse 21, it says the wilderness. So the Most High was providing shade for these people in the wilderness, because all this took place in Northeast Africa. There's no such thing as the Middle East. They were in hot temperatures. So they needed shade by day and light by night, because the desert, the wilderness, could get very dark at night. So the Most High was providing shade and providing light. Now we're going to skip to Exodus chapter 40 and verse 34. Then a cloud, the UFO, the chariot of the Most High, covered the tent of the congregation, because in the wilderness, Moses and the Israelites set up these tent structures where they would do the work of the Most High and where they would camp out for the time being. Then a cloud, a UFO, the chariot of the Most High, covered the tent of the congregation, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. And Moses was not able to enter into the tent of the congregation, because the cloud abode thereon, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. And when the cloud was taken up from over the tabernacle, the children of Israel went onward in all their journeys. This so-called UFO, the cloud, the chariot of the Most High, when it was taken from over the tabernacle, meaning the UFO that hovered over the tabernacle, when it lifted itself into the sky, that's when the Israelites also got up and they went on with their journey, because this UFO, the chariot of the Most High, was guiding them through the wilderness. But if the cloud were not taken up, then they journeyed not till the day that it was taken up. So if the cloud didn't move, they didn't move. If the chariot of the Most High didn't move, they didn't move. For the cloud of the Lord was upon the tabernacle by day to provide shade, and fire was on it by night to give light, in the sight of all the house of Israel throughout all their journeys. For the so-called blacks, Latins, and Native Americans, we've been dealing with life outside of Earth. We've been dealing with UFOs and everything Esau, the so-called white man, would dream of. Why you think he hates us so much? We the more advanced people on the planet. And he know this because he got all our stuff. And again, that's why they fear when the UFOs, the chariots of the Most High do come back. Who do you think is coming to help? Now we at Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 32. Yet in this thing ye did not believe Yahweh your God, who went in the way before you to search you out a place to pitch your tents in, and fire by night, to show you by what way ye should go in the cloud by day. So the Israelites was complaining against the Most High to Moses, saying, oh, we in the wilderness, where are we going? Did the Lord bring us here to kill us in the wilderness? So this scripture is saying, y'all didn't believe in Yahweh, who went before you in a UFO, in a chariot of the Most High, to search out a place where you should camp at, and fire by night and a cloud by day. It's pretty much saying I gave y'all light at night and I gave y'all shade by day. So why didn't y'all trust me? So now we're going to go to the next scripture. Nehemiah chapter 9 verse 12. Moreover, thou leddest them in a day by a cloudy pillar, and by night by a pillar of fire, to give them light in the way wherein they should go. So it's just stated multiple times in the Bible that the Most High led them through the wilderness in the cloud by day, which was the UFO providing shade because it was up there with the clouds. So they described it as being a great cloud. And a pillar of fire by night, because at night this UFO lit up like a great star, like the biggest star they ever seen. And we know this is not talking about an actual cloud, and we know that this is not talking about an actual fire. They speaking metaphorically of this UFO, the shade of the Most High, being a cloud and a fire. Now I'm going to go to Nehemiah chapter 9, verse 19. Yet thou in thy manifold mercies forsookest them not in the wilderness, meaning the Most High in his mercy did not forsake them in the wilderness, even when they complained against them. The pillar of cloud departed not from them by day, meaning the Most High always gave them shade to lead them in the way, neither the pillar of fire by night to show them light in the way where they should go. Meaning he never took the UFO from amongst them. If they needed to take a journey at night, the Most High gave them light by the means of a UFO, which is the chariot of the Most High. And Esau, the so-called white man, they know what UFOs are, which we stated in my last video. That's why every time they see something in the sky, they get spooked. Why do you think they got the space stations? Why do you think they got these planetariums? Why do you think they got these big old telescopes that be looking all in the sky? They're trying to see when our power coming back. They're trying to see when our long lost brothers and sisters, which are the angels, are coming back. If you ain't did nothing wrong, you ain't got nothing to look out for. But if you did some dirt to a group of people, you know that one day their help is coming for you. And our help is coming for them. So Esau, the so-called white man, they move around with a guilty conscience. You don't need that many cameras and telescopes in the world. So now we're going to go to Psalms, chapter 68, verse 4. Sing unto Yahweh, sing praise to his name. Extol him that rideth upon the heavens by his name, Yahweh, and rejoice before him. During the ancient times, they described the heavens as everything in the sky, even the clouds and stuff. So it said, praise his name that rideth, not flieth with his wings, not riding on the horse, but that ride upon the heavens. What is he riding in? He riding in his chariots, the chariots of fire, what they call UFOs. Now we at Psalm 68, verse 17. The chariots of God, not the horses of God, but the vehicles of Yahweh are 20,000, even thousands of angels. So if this was MTV Cribs, the Most High would have a 20,000 car garage. Now that's a real king right there. The vehicles of Yahweh are 20,000, even thousands of angels, not thousands of horses, not thousands of unicorns. And the Lord is among them, as in Sinai in the holy place. And I believe that was a mountain that Moses often talked to the Most High on and where Moses prayed at. So it's saying that the Lord is among these chariots, as in Sinai, as he was in the wilderness when he was leading them through the wilderness during the Exodus. So again, all these weird sightings or weird phenomena that we see in the sky, just remember, the chariots of Yahweh are 20,000. And guess what? Not all of them look the same. That's why none of this weird stuff in the sky look the same. Some stuff may look similar, but a lot of stuff look different. Because he ain't just got one kind of vehicle. He got thousands of different kinds. Like if you had a Camaro and a Range Rover and a Lamborghini and a Jeep, you got different kind of vehicles. So do the Most High. Now we have Psalms chapter 78, verse 14. In the daytime also he led them with a cloud that gave shade, and all the night with a light of fire to give light. This is just speaking more on the Exodus of Moses and the Israelites. But now we're going to go to Psalms 104, verse 3. Who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters? The chambers are also his chariots of fire. And also there's a term called USOs. That means unidentified submerged object. It's pretty much a UFO, but it's a UFO that's in the water. And I'm going to show y'all that. Alright, so we got it. An unidentified submerged object. There we go again. So you pretty much UFOs that's in the water. There's no telling where Yahweh and his angels may park their vehicles. He make the sky his garage. He make the water his garage. Why you think Esau be underneath the water in submarines? They trying to see where the Most High his angels hiding at, which is stupid. If I'm in the forest or in the jungle, I'm not gonna go looking for a grizzly bear. So why y'all looking for the Most High? But let's get on with the rest of this scripture. Who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot, who walketh upon the wings of the wind. See, who maketh the clouds his chariot. See, who maketh the clouds his chariot. Maketh the clouds his chariot. Meaning he may use the clouds as a cover-up for his chariot or to camouflage. Now we are in Isaiah chapter 22, verse 17. Behold, the Lord will carry thee away with a mighty captivity. That mighty captivity was the transatlantic slave trade when we were carried from Africa to the Americas, and will surely cover thee. He will surely violently turn and toss thee like a ball. Because when you in these ships and the seas get rough, the ship tossing and turning throw you like a ball into a large country, which is the Americas. There thou shalt die. So in the Americas we shall die. And there the chariots of thy glory shall be the shame of thy Lord's house. So our chariots that watch over us will be ashamed of the Lord's people, will be ashamed of the blacks, Native Americans, and Latin people. So when we look at these two verses again, behold, the Lord will carry us into captivity. He's going to toss and turn us like a ball in a ship into a large country where we will die at. And the chariots that watch over us, our guardian angels, will be ashamed of the Lord's people, will be ashamed of the Israelites because we went into captivity. Why are they ashamed? Because first, they're our guardian angels. And second, those are our long lost brothers and sisters in the spirit. So it's like you got a younger brother or sister, they keep messing up, getting in trouble. You see them go to jail, you shames. You're like, man, you making us look bad, and I know you better than that. So same here with the angels. They was ashamed of the Lord's house. Them chariots of fire, watch us get carried from Africa through the Atlantic Ocean and over here into the U.S. That's why North America got so many UFO sightings, because our long lost brothers and sisters watching us in them chariots of fire. He who maketh the clouds his chariot, he who rideth on the clouds. All right, now we at Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 13. Behold, he shall come up as clouds, and his chariot shall be as a whirlwind. His horses are swifter than eagles. Woe unto us, for we are spoiled. During the Exodus, when the Most High made the cloud depart from the tabernacle, that's when the Israelites will pack up and leave. So this is saying he shall come up as clouds, meaning the UFO will go up and be amongst the clouds. And his chariots shall be as a whirlwind. His horses are swifter than eagles. Woe unto us, for we are spoiled. So his chariots shall be as a whirlwind. I think the best way to describe that is saying that they're powerful and they're fast. So now we're going to go to Ezekiel chapter 1 verse 4. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself, and the brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire. And he said, behold, out of the north came a great cloud. What's that great cloud? Aren't these great clouds? Yeah, these are all great clouds, because the Most High make up the clouds as chariots. And let's read on. And the fire enfolding itself. So when people describe these chariots as being like a ball of fire shooting through the sky, a fire enfolding itself, meaning it's a fire that's covering up something. And we're going to go to this image here. So these are ancient images that were painted. So we see by day, it would describe a chariot as looking like this. Not all of them look like this, but when it turned into a fire by night, the chariot lights up and it gave them light. The fire enfolded itself over this chariot, which made it look like a fireball. And out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber. So color of amber, we got these different shades of orange, yellow orange, dark orange. Amber is just the form of orange. You see we got different ambers over here. Now I got some pictures I'm gonna show y'all. I spotted this myself personally, and behold, a gray cloud that had a brightness about it, because if we zoom in, there's a light behind this color over here, and as the color of amber. Now look at this, two different color oranges compared to this spectrum here, but there's a brightness about it because there's a light behind it, and that's not the sun. But I got a better one. This one here. You almost see the colors of the rainbow in it. A gray cloud, and out of the midst thereof, that's the color of amber. So when we put this next to this here, the color of amber, and people may look at this and be like, that could be anything. You just don't understand the power of the Most High. You can't comprehend what He's capable of. Like animals can't imagine somebody driving these weird vehicles and submarines when they see it giving off light. When we see stuff giving off light in the sky, we can't comprehend that. So as animals are to us, we are to the angels. We just can't comprehend what's going on behind this. It's not for us to comprehend. Like animals can't understand the concept of vehicles being powered by gas and oil to move on its own and transport people. We can't comprehend nothing that take the colors of the rainbow in the sky and make strange shapes. It's obviously something. We didn't see no orange rain that day. All right, so now we're going to get to Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 15. Now, as I beheld the living creatures, creatures that worship and serve the Most High, behold, one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures, and the wheels being the UFOs, which were by each of the four living creatures. The appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of beryl, and they four had one likeness. And their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. We have a circle inside of another circle. So a wheel in the middle of a wheel. And when we think about this, that's where Esau get flying saucers from. Whoever told Esau, the so-called white man, that spaceships were round? Where do they get the term flying saucer from? They got it from the Bible. They ain't think this up on their own. And they getting all this money from this nonsense. They owe the Most High some money from the millions of dollars they made from flying saucers and spaceship movies. Now I got a little illustration where we show y'all a wheel in the wheel. So this is the appearance of a wheel within a wheel. So this is what Ezekiel saw, and this is what Esau, the so-called white man, make his money from. Now we're going to go to Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 18. As for their rings, they were so high that they were dreadful. This is Ezekiel saying how high up these chariots were, how high up these wheels were. So they were so high that they were dreadful, meaning it would make you sick how high you was. So what this tell you? That tell you that he was on board this chariot, that he boarded this wheel of a wheel, which in the interview that I used in my last video, those secret scrolls talked about how Ezekiel boarded this chariot. Now I have that link so you can check out that presentation. And their rings were full of eyes round about them four, meaning that these four wheels, as Ezekiel called them, which are the chariots of Yahweh, the eyes are windows. Because what do they call the eye of a human? It's the window to your soul. So these wheels had glass windows going 360 degrees, meaning you could see out of any side of the chariot. Now we're going to go to Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 28. As the appearance of the bow that's in the cloud in the day of rain. Now what's the bow? The bow is the rainbow. So was the appearance of the brightness round about. This was the appearance of the likeliness of the glory of the Lord. The glory of the Lord, which is the UFOs, the chariots of the Most High, it has the appearance of a rainbow in a cloud in a day of rain. As you can see, when I took these, there was no rain that day. So that's why I said the appearance of a rainbow that's in a cloud on a rainy day. Because look how clear the sky is, partly cloudy, but it's not dark at all. If you zoom in on some of these, especially this one, you can see the colors of the rainbow. You can see the blue, the green, the yellow, the orange, the red. But more importantly, you see that amber, the color of fire. So now we're going to go to Matthew chapter 2, verse 1 through 2. Now, when Yahushua was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his great star in the east, and are come to worship him. Now, what is this great star? We're going to show after I read this here. Matthew chapter 2, verse 7. Then Herod, when he had privily called the wise men, inquiring of them diligently what time the star appeared, and he sent them to Bethlehem, and said, Go and search diligently for the young child. When ye have found him, bring me word again, that I may come and worship him also. And when they heard the king, they departed, and lo, the star, which they saw in the east, went before them, till it came and stood over where the young child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. Now, in the ancient days, they didn't have the terms flying saucer, spaceships, UFO, so they called it a star. It's something that lights up at night like a star, and it's amongst the stars. Now, when Yahweh Shai was born, there was a great star hovering over him where he was at. But when we skip down here, it said, They departed, and lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them, meaning the star that they saw in the east led the way till it came and stood over where the young child was, meaning it hovered over Yahweh Shai. So this ain't no star, this is what they would call a UFO, or a chariot of fire, the chariots of the Most High. It led them and hovered over the child, which is how they found baby Yahweh Shai. Now I'm going to show y'all pictures of this. Alright, we know Mary's not white, so this is just some art long ago. But more importantly, you probably got a wise man right here that's looking up at something weird shaped in the sky. Alright, so this is a very old picture. But look, we got what appears to be somebody standing over the baby. And we see this great star is giving light over this baby. So the so-called UFO, the chariot of the Most High, is hovering over baby Yahweh Shai, which is how the wise man found them. They departed, and lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them, led them, till they came and stood over where the young child was. So that great star is a UFO. When Yahweh Shai was born into the world in the flesh, a UFO came after him. And when Yahweh Shai enters the world again at his return, a UFO is coming with him. Now we're going to go to Luke chapter 9, verse 33. And it came to pass, as they departed from him, Peter said unto Yahweh Shai, Master, it is good for us to be here. Let us make 3 tabernacles, one for thee, and one for Moses, and one for Elias. Now, Yahweh Shai is way after the time of Moses. Moses has been long gone at this point. So they saw Moses in the spirit, talking with Yahweh Shai and Elias. While he thus spake, there came a cloud and overshadowed them. So, like we saying, that cloud is a UFO that gives shade. So it says overshadowed them, meaning it blocked out the sun, and they feared as they entered into the cloud. Ain't nobody scared of a dang cloud. It's talking about a so-called UFO, the chariots of God. Because when this thing overshadowed them and blocked out the sun, that scared them because they'd never seen nothing like that during their lifetimes. And they feared as Moses and Elias entered the cloud. So if you enter a real cloud, it's going to be a bunch of puffiness and a bunch of moisture. Nah, they entered a UFO, the chariot of God. So this is what Moses and Elias entered, something like this. And thus while he spake, there came a cloud, and the clouds around us, and overshadowed them. And they feared as they entered into the cloud. So this UFO, this chariot of God, got right above them, and they entered. Oh, lastly, I'm going to show you that Esau covers up the evidence of these chariots. But look at this. When those airplanes be spraying that BS in the sky, when they be spraying them chemtrails and that dust, this when they first made their roundabout. See, they went this way, then another one went this way. They made a circle. So what's inside this circle? But look how these clouds expand. Most of these clouds that we be seeing during the daytime ain't real clouds. They man-made and they poisonous. A few moments later, they expanded some, as you can see. But check out this video. Look how much more these clouds expanded. I'm going to play this twice. Did y'all see that? It's reddish on this side, and greenish bluish on this side, and yellow in the middle. On my phone, I can zoom in on this. So that's what they're covering up. Look, it's inside this circle. And it's not the sun over here, but the appearance of a rainbow as in a cloud on a rainy day. I've actually seen one of these moving through the sky. At the time, I didn't have knowledge of what it was. But as I learned, it was a chariot. It was just a little piece of a rainbow, and it was shooting through the sky. There wasn't no smoke trail. It wasn't no sound. It wasn't nothing. It was just shooting through the sky. And I also had other people looking at it. So this here is when I get a still image of that video, and I flip the color so that it's negative. To the left over here, you see that big black spot is the sun, but to the right is this chariot that was glowing in the sky. It's inside this circle. But the appearance of a rainbow as in a cloud on a rainy day. The sun over here. It's reddish on this side, yellow in the middle, and greenish bluish on this side. So these were the scriptures that just generally talks about UFOs or the chariots of the Most High. There's more scriptures. I hope I open some people's eyes to hidden knowledge that's in the Bible, and I hope I uncovered more of Esau's, the so-called white man's lies. Now we know that angels are aliens. There's no such thing as aliens. And UFOs are not unidentified. They know exactly what UFOs are. And the angels ride them because they can do the work of the Most High unspotted and unseen from the world. They've been helping us since the beginning of time. But as we see in Isaiah, they watched us go into captivity, and they've been watching us ever since. They were watching us during the Exodus. They watched baby Yahweh Shai when he was born. But these chariots will return, and they'll help us once again. Everybody stay prayed up so that the chariots will protect you during the last days. And everybody keep an eye out in the sky. There's no telling what you might see. I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Other than that, Shalom to the hopeful elect.
Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai.
The chariots of God are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them, as in Sinai, in the holy place. Zechariah 5. Then I turned, and lifted up mine eyes, and looked, and behold a flying roll. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Then said he unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For every one that stealeth shall be cut off, as on this side according to it, and every one that sweareth shall be cut off, as on that side according to it.
Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai.
The chariots of God are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them, as in Sinai, in the holy place.
¿Qué es eso? Look at that shit.
The chariots of God are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them, as in Sinai, in the holy place. The chariots of God are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them, as in Sinai, in the holy place.
Esto es como un extraterrestre, algo así.
The chariots of God are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them, as in Sinai, in the holy place.
Una bola de candela en el aire, mira para eso, tú. Mira aquello, mira lo que está mirando. Oye, pero como tiene distinto.
The chariots of God are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them, as in Sinai, in the holy place.
Now it just disappeared. They're disappearing. They heard us up on the mountain. They did.
UFO.
Oh my god, is that UFO stuff? Wait.
Weird.
I can't even get it on my fucking camera. Is that
Cool.
UFO stuff? Oh my god, I can see a little bit. Oh my god, what the hell is that? Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't want to get that
Three.
close. Oh shit. You think that's...
And corny.
Oh my god. What's that, Chinese lantern? Oh my god, that's
The chariots of God are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them, as in Sinai, in the holy place.
Oh, there's lots. Some of them are on the corner.
Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shah.